Hey guys, I'm back with another underrated horror movies list. This is actually the fourth time I've done one. I never thought I would make this many underrated horror movies videos. But, I mean, I found a lot more movies that I consider to be underrated. So this isn't going to be the last one either. I'm going to do a fifth one as well soon, maybe in a couple months, maybe. Because I've already also found more underrated horror movies that's not going to be featured on this video because I'm going to save it for my fifth one. Because I only do 15. Like, I've done 15 the first three times. I did a underrated horror sequels. So this can be just movies in general. There are sequels, yes, but it's not a sequel-themed one like my last one is. This is just horror movies in general. So, without further ado, let's get started. So, another one that I consider to be underrated is Cherry Falls. I did a review on this a while back. So this is like one I'd never heard of, and I don't really see a lot of people talking about. It was like made as to like cash in on the success of Scream, and it shows a little bit. There are similarities to Scream. There's also similarities to other like 90s horror movies. I think this came out in 2000. Yeah, 2000. And thanks to the Scream Factory, got a Blu-ray release. And I thank them for that because I would have never found out about this movie if it wasn't for them. Yeah, so this was a good movie that starred Brittany Murphy and Michael Biehn. And it's worth checking out. Another one I chose is a Stephen King movie called Thinner. This was directed by Tom Holland, who directed the original Fright Night and the first Child's Play. So this is a movie about this overweight guy who gets this gypsy curse put on him when he starts like losing weight rapidly until like one day it's gonna kill him and he has to try to get the curse removed. So it's pretty good movie. It's not as good as the movies I just mentioned, but it's not a bad movie either. So it's worth checking out if you're a fan of Stephen King or Tom Holland's work. Another one I chose is this movie called Prison. This was directed by Renny Harlin, who directed The Fourth Nightmare on Elm Street. He also directed Die Hard 2. And so this movie stars Viggo Mortensen from the Lord of the Rings movies. Basically this haunted prison movie. This is a movie I don't really see much talk about. I don't really see people like recommending it, but I do recommend it though. It's got some pretty cool atmosphere, pretty good practical effects, pretty good performance by Viggo Mortensen. So I really do like this. Another one I chose is this Wes Craven movie called Shocker. And while this does have a fan base, but like this is a movie that didn't do well initially when it came out back in the 1989. So it didn't do well at the time, and I know Wes Craven originally wanted to do a sequel to it, but that didn't happen, unfortunately. Like, I really do like the villain in this one. What's his name? Horace Pinker. I really do like that. Like he gets this power to like travel through like electrical currents. Like he goes through TVs, goes through outlets, light bulbs. Like pretty good performance by Mitch Pileggi, something like that. I know he was in the X-Files. So pretty good performance from him. He was pretty menacing. I also really like the fight scenes. Like it was just a very fun movie. Really do like this one. And another one I chose is The Hills Run Red. Like not a lot of people really talk about this movie either. Like I really do like the story in this, how it's basically about this movie called The Hills Run Red that was never finished. But then like this crazed fan who's really obsessed with that unfinished movie goes to the locations where it was supposedly filmed and also finds the director's daughter to make this documentary about it. But then he comes face to face with the killer, Babyface, as well as also the director, played by William Sadler from Die Hard 2. Like, he really steals the show. He was one of the best parts of this movie. So yeah, I really do like this movie a lot. And here's actually one of the sequels, and it's Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood. Got this autographed by Kane Hodder right over here. And like, I think this one's underrated because like this one doesn't really get as much love as like the first four or the sixth movie. I mean, this was Kane Hodder's first time playing Jason as well, and I really do like the look of Jason as well. How we see his like bones, like his spine, the bones in like his hands, his legs, his ribs all showing. It's like, I think it's the best look for Jason. Also, I really like the towards the end he fights the main girl Tina, who has telekinesis. So that's some of the best part. A downfall is the rest of the characters, though, where it's just like, you know, your typical horror cliches, just there to die. I do like the death scenes, though. Heck, there's that famous image of Jason holding up a axe that was like used for the NES game that was taken right out of this movie. And another one is Wishmaster, the first one, not the second one, because I'm not really a fan of the second one, or not really a fan of any of the sequels, to be honest. I really only like the first one. So, like, this is another movie that did badly initially when it came out back in the 90s. It's gained a cult following. It's a good thing, though. I mean, I really do like Andrew Divoff. I hope I pronounced his name right. I really liked his acting, the way he portrayed the Djinn. I liked the practical effects, although there were some bad CGI effects, though. We even have some appearances from some horror legends like Kane Hodder, Robert Englund, Tony Todd, Ted Raimi. So it was actually like, you know, from what I've been seeing some people putting on the internet, it's the original horror Expendables, because a lot of people consider Hatchet to be that, but this was like, you know, the first one to actually do that. So yeah, I actually do like the first Wishmaster. I'm not really a fan of any of the sequels, like I just said, though. But it's worth checking out. And I also chose this John Carpenter movie, Village of the Damned, which was a remake that he made, because there's actually been a couple of John Carpenter movies that have been remade, like The Fog and Halloween. But like, you know, this was a remake, though, that John Carpenter made himself. It stars Christopher Reeve. This is actually the last movie he did just before he got paralyzed in that horseback riding accident. Also, Kirstie Allen is in this too, and Mark Hamill's also in it. I mean, I really like the performances of them. I really do think the kids in this movie were pretty creepy looking. I especially liked when their eyes lit up to like a bright red color. I mean, I really like how also the kids looked like they were unstoppable, because there was even this part where like cops, military like comes to get them, but they use their powers and fight back, beat them all. So yeah, this is actually like pretty good, underrated John Carpenter movie. It's a lesser known movie of his, because when you think of John Carpenter, you think of Halloween or The Thing or Escape from New York, but this is a movie you just don't think of. And this one I chose because, as you may have seen this rant video I did to my friend Alex, you know I hated the remake of Cabin Fever, so I put Cabin Fever 2 on maybe my second list, or my third one or the other. So I'm going to put the third movie, Cabin Fever Patient Zero, on this one, because like I said in my rant video, like, the second movie and the third one may not have been the best sequels ever made, but they weren't terrible like they were made out to be. So I think, like, you know, we should support this one as well as the second one after how much terrible the remake was. So, but anyway, I really do like this one more than the second one, though. I mean, I like how really good the gore effects, practical effects were. I liked Sean Astin's. I also really like the scene where these two girls are in this really brutal fist fight while they both have the virus and their skin is coming off. That part was awesome. I also like how it's set on an island as well. And here's one that's directed by the director of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Tobe Hooper, and that's The Mangler. This is also based on a Stephen King book as well. And this stars Robert Englund and Ted Levine. Like, they do a pretty good job in this. I really like the atmosphere. I like the practical gore effects as well. Some stuff got pretty campy towards the end, though, which is a bit of a downfall, and wasn't too big fan of the ending, but everything else I actually do like. So this isn't Tobe Hooper's best movie that he directed, but it's not his worst either. I've seen worse than this one, so I do like this one. And here's another Wes Craven movie, and that's Deadly Friend. Now, I know Wes Craven himself disowned this movie, and a lot of people hated it, but it's gained a little bit of a cult fan base, though. Not a big one, but a little bit of one. I mean, I really do like that scene where Christy Swanson. Sorry. Okay, sorry. Christy Swanson, she throws this basketball at this old lady's head, and her head just explodes. A whole blood mess. That part was pretty good. I mean, I liked the part where all those times when Chris Swanson was saying that beep beep, because it was pretty creepy looking. I liked the atmosphere. I do like the chemistry between the main characters as well. I mean, it was a little ridiculous at times, but what are you gonna do? I mean, like, it was still a fun movie. I mean, I still enjoy it. And here's actually a movie I actually showed in my video I just did for my Dario Argento collection, and that is The Card Player. So I wasn't really sure what the hate was for this movie. It's not as good as his earlier movies, but it's not terrible. It's not his worst movie ever made. That belongs to his adaptation of Phantom of the Opera. I mean, I really liked how the villain in this movie used this card game on a computer to play against the cops, and if they lose, he kills his victims. I liked the mystery. I liked the tension, suspense at the end of the movie. So yeah, I don't really get what's all the hate towards this movie. I like it. And here's another one that I don't really see much, like, that many people talk about, and that's Children of the Night. I mean, it's a pretty good vampire movie. It's got Peter DeLuise from the original 21 Jump Street show, and what's her name? Karen Black is also in this as well. I like the effects, although the vampire effects. I liked the atmosphere, the music. I do like when they fight the vampires at the end as well. So it's worth checking out if you're a vampire fan. It's not the best vampire movie ever made, but it's worth checking out if you're a vampire fan. And here's another one. That's Simon Says. This was directed by Bill Dear, who only made like family movies before making this. Like, he's made Harry and the Hendersons and Angels in the Outfield. This is his first and only horror movie as of right now. He's went back to doing like family comedies after this. Also, young Blake Lively makes an appearance in this as well. This stars Crispin Glover, who we know from Back to the Future and Friday the 13th Part 4, and Willard. And, like, you know, he just does, like, you know, a great job in this. Like, you know, he's the best actor. Some of the acting wasn't really that good, but there were some bad CGI effects, but there were some pretty good practical effects, though. But Crispin Glover is the one who steals the show. I mean, I really liked his sick, twisted performance. The way he was, like, you know, saying, "You didn't say Simon Says." I mean, that was just pretty creepy in general. And the last one, and it's actually another Wes Craven movie, and that is Wes Craven's New Nightmare. And now you're probably going to say, why do I have this on an underrated list? It got good reviews from the critics, and a lot of people like this movie, and that's true. That is very true. This did get good reviews by the critics. A lot of people like it. However, like, you know, while the critics liked it, the fan base, the Nightmare on Elm Street fan base, is kind of split down in the middle for this one. There are fans who like it, fans who don't like it. I know some people myself who like it, and some people who don't like it as well. And there's also like another reason I'm putting it on there because like all the Nightmare on Elm Street movies like just ignored this one like while this one references some of the previous ones, but like a lot of people like like just ignore this one as if it's not part of the series. And even Freddy vs. Jason even ignored continuity with this movie. And Freddy vs. Jason just took place after the 6th movie. Freddy's dead. But to be fair, though, this isn't 100% part of the Nightmare on Elm Street series because it's not set in the same world as the other movies. It's set in the real world. And Freddy isn't the same Freddy as we saw in the other movies. In this one, Freddy's this demon who takes Freddy's form, and he's trying to like come up to the real world, and so he's going after Heather Langenkamp, the actress who played Nancy in the first and the third Nightmare on Elm Street movies. And like and so like he needs to like get to her like in order to come up to the real world. I mean, I liked Freddy's claws. I liked that. I wasn't a fan of Freddy's look at first, but since then it's grown on me, so I do like his look as well. I also liked Heather Langenkamp's performance as well. I liked how her fictional life in this movie was based on her real life. It's like her fictional husband, Chase Porter, was based on her real life husband, David Leroy Anderson. I also liked the appearances from some of the other Nightmare on Elm Street cast, like John Saxon. Also Tuesday Knight made an appearance as well in the funeral scene. Also the actor who played the boy who got hung. I forgot his name though. I forgot the actor's name. In the first Nightmare on Elm Street made an appearance as well during the funeral. Wes Craven himself is even in it as well. So yeah, this was a pretty good movie. I mean, and it's also like when you really think about it, it's the Nightmare on Elm Street movie we kind of needed because after the first and second movie, Freddy was starting to become a joke. He wasn't really all that scary anymore. He was just silly, over the top, like doing ridiculous stuff like cracking one-liners, like showing up as the witch from The Wizard of Oz, showing up as a superhero, riding a skateboard, showing up as a chef, showing up as a doctor. So it was like just he was becoming like just basically a joke. So this one was like returning Freddy back to his roots, making him scary again. And so Wes Craven gets a thumbs up for that. May he rest in peace. So yeah, this was one of the better ones in the series. It's actually a pretty good movie when you really think about it. And I think that's really all I gotta say. And that wraps it up for this one. So I'm going to be doing more videos coming up soon. I'll be doing a 5th underrated list in a couple months. And thank you for watching. See ya.